Xerarch. Okay, so here the xeric. So next one is the ecological succession of Xerarch or Lithosere. So means it generally it occurs on the rocks. So if the ecological succession which starts on the bare rock area, it is called as a Xerarch stage. So the main stages in this Xerarch are crustose lichen stage, second one is the foliose lichen stage, third one is the moss stage, and fourth one is the herbs stage, fifth one is the shrub stage, and sixth one is a xerophytic tree stage, and seventh one is a forest stage. So these are the main seven. Here also seven stages. Crust first. So here in Xerarch, ecological succession on the Xerarch. So here also seven stages. So it starts with the crustose lichen stage. Second, it is followed by the foliose lichen stage. Third one, moss stage. Fourth one, herbs stage. Fifth, shrub stage. And sixth one is a xerophytic trees stage. And seventh one is a forest stage. So like hydrosere, a xerosere also completes in the series of several orderly steps. So each serial stage being characterized by the peculiar type of plant community and reaction. So xeric succession commonly occur on the bare rock surfaces, that is the lithosere. So resulting from the glaciation or from the erosion by the wind and water. So here the rocky habitat which shows many extreme xeric conditions. So as the rock is directly exposed to sun, so the temperature of the rock surface goes very high because it is directly exposed to sun. So there is no water and nutrient holding devices on the exposed smooth surface of the rock. So in such a xeric habitat, only those plants can survive, so which can resist the extreme drought. So the organisms are the type of plants are the lichens. Okay. So first stage, that is the okay. So the first stage, that is the crustose lichen stage. So it is the pioneer stage in the Xerarch and have the ability to grow on the rocks and they are the slow growers and they can withstand the extreme dehydration and they absorb the rainwater like sponges and decompose the rock by secreting the acids like carbonic acid, etc. So examples for this crustose lichens are Lichenora and Rhinodina. So these are the Rhinodina and Lichenora. So these are the main crustose lichens, examples for crustose lichens. So here this is the bare rock. So on this, so the lichens, that is the crustose lichens. So these lichens also, they can completely attach it with the rocks that, so we cannot separate the lichens from the rock like that. So they can completely attach it with this rocks. So next one is the foliose lichen stage. So appear on the little soil which is accumulated on the rock. So also known as the leaf-like lichens. Foliose means leaf-like lichen. So their activity collects a thin layer of soil. So due to the death and decomposition of these lichens, here slowly, that is due to the death and decomposition of these crustose lichens, slowly here the formation of soil is occurring on the rocks. So examples for this foliose lichen stage is the Permelia and Dermatocarpon. So here these are the leaf-like. So these are the lichens which are growing on the rock area. So here the thin soil is available here. So next one is the moss stage. So it begin to appear when sufficient amount of soil is accumulated. So mosses increases the amount of the soil and by their death and decay, a mat may be formed on the rock. So it can hold more water and make habitat which is suitable for the herbs. So example is simple moss. So next one is the herbs stage. So 1 minute. Next one is the herb stage. So here the herbaceous weeds which invade the rock. So they start growing. So their roots, which penetrate deep down down and secrete the acids and enhance the process of weathering. So they mainly helps in the breakdown of these rocks. So leaf litter and death of the herb adds humus to the soil. So which shading of soil, which result in decreases in the evaporation and temperature will increase. So as a result, the xeric condition begin to change and biennial and perennial herbs and xeric grasses begin to inhabit. So here it is the herb stage. So here slowly formation of in any stage, that is any ecological succession, that is a hydrarch or xerarch. So here slowly formation of the soil is occurring. And next stage is the shrub stage. So on the soil appear xeric shrub, and these shrubs may start from seeds or invade from the adjacent areas by the rhizomes, and this makes the condition unsuitable for the herbs and overshadow them. So due to which the herbs are unable to compete, and hence they are replaced by the shrubs. So early invasion is slow, but birds help in the disperse the seeds. So this result in the dense growth and makes unfavorable conditions for the herbs. So they migrate. So here shrub stage is prevalent. So next one is the tree stage. So change in the environment which favors colonization of the tree species, and the tree saplings begin to grow among the shrubs and establish themselves. So the trees form the canopy and shade the area. So shade loving plants continue to grow as the secondary vegetation, and leaf litter and decay of roots weather the soil further and add humus to it, and making the habitat which is more favorable for the tree growth. So final stage, that is the climax stage. So the first species of the trees are relatively xeric, and as the weathering, that is a formation of soil is occurring, and it continues and soil deepens, and the xeric trees in turn gives the place to the mesophytic species of the trees. So finally, that is climax stage is formed. Okay, so here. So here first stage, that is the crustose lichen stage. So the pioneer colonizers on the bare area, that is the crustose lichen, so which occur on the rock surface in the form of membranous crust. So important crustose lichens are Rhizocarpus, Lecidia, etc. So these plants grow only so when the water becomes available in the habitat. So in dry periods, so the pioneers, though they are appear to be desiccated, so they remain alive. So during and their spongy nature, which enables them to absorb the excess amount of water and minerals. So when the water is available, they can absorb. So these lichens migrate through their spores and soridia, and their migration is facilitated by the wind and water. So second stage, that is these lichens. So here this is important. So how the soil formation is occurring means, so due to this formation of carbonic acid. So the lichens secrete the carbonic acid in excess, and that acid is formed when the excess CO2 is liberated in the respiration, which combines with the water and forms the carbonic acid. So this carbonic acid is important for the breakdown of these rocks. So the carbonic acid, which reacts with the rocky materials, and they loosen the rock particles. So they corrode the rock particles together with the decaying lichens and make the first thin layer of soil on the rock surface. 1 minute. Okay, so here. So this carbonic acid will react with the rocky material and loosen the rock particles. And here the nitrogenous compounds also formed from the atmospheric gases during the lightning also brought to the soil by rains. So now the habitat which becomes less fit for the existing plants, and consequently, so the primary colonizers begin to disappear from there. So that is the crustose lichens are replaced by next stage, that is the foliose lichens. Next community, that is the foliose lichen stage. So after accumulation of the little soil and humus, so the rock surface previously occupied by the crustose lichens now becomes covered with the xeric foliose and fruticose lichens. So examples for this is dermatocarpon, palmelia, and umbilicaria. So these are the main lichens. So they can grow in this foliose lichen. So these lichens have the delicate leaf-like thalli, so which cover the rocks and overshadow the pre-existing crustose lichens. So now crustose lichens are replaced by the foliose lichens. So when the supply of light is cut off, the crustose lichens begin to die and foliose lichens absorb and accumulate the water and minerals and check the evaporation of the surface. So here how these one community is replacing by other. So due to the unfavorable conditions only, here one community is replaced by the other. So they also secrete the carbonic acid, so which further pulverize or loosen the rocks into small particles. So the water retaining capacity of the habitat also increases with the further accumulation of the soil particles and humus. So gradually the condition becomes less favorable for the existing foliose and fruticose lichens. So as the soil formation occurs, so these lichens are replaced by the mosses. So when the habitat which is changed, the existing foliose lichens start disappearing, and in that area, xerophytic mosses grow and become dominant. So these plants usually grow in the crevices or depressions of the rocks. So where enough rock particle, humus, and moisture are accumulated. So like lichens, so these mosses also adapted to survive in the extreme drought. So next, the xerophytic mosses develop the rhizoids, which penetrate deep into the rocky soil. So they cover the previous lichens and successfully compete with them for water and mineral nutrients. So the decaying older part of mosses form a thick mat over the rock surface. So as this mat becomes more thick, so it increases the water holding capacity of the soil, and thus this habitat becomes relatively more wet. So now next cereal community may replace the moss community. So next stage, that is the herbs stage. So when the soil increases in thickness, so the herbaceous vegetation, which consists only of the annuals and perennial herbs, develops very quickly. So increased moisture content of the soil, again which favor the growth of the herbs. So the roots of these plants penetrate down almost. So in every stage what happens, so first dry area on this, so dry area, so only lichens will grow. So after due to this growth of this lichens, so the rock area becomes it will be breakdown and formation of soil is occurring. So like that, so one same area which is replaced by the different community. So due to the changes in that same environment and due to the as the formation of soil is occurring, so first stage, it is a first community which cannot survive in that area, and the same area again it is occupied by the another community. Okay. So here herbs stage. So the roots are herbs stage also. It is mass stage is replaced by the herb stage. So when the soil increases in thickness and herbaceous vegetation, and which consist of mainly annuals and perennial herbs, so they develop very quickly. So increased moisture content of the soil, which favors the growth of the herbs. So the roots of these plants penetrate down almost to the level of the unpulverized rock. So where they secrete the acids and they accelerate the process of rock disintegration. So in this in Xerarch stage, so here the bare, that is the formation of the soil will continues. That is the breakdown of these rocks will takes place, and here the moisture content also increases in the soil. Okay. So next, in this way, the thickness of the soil and the rock surface increases to considerable extent, and decaying leaves, stems, roots, and other parts of the plants becomes deposited on this soil surface in the form of humus. So this further increases the water holding capacity of the soil. So these reactions make the habitat more suitable for the woody plants than to the existing herbs. So here in every stage, the water holding capacity is increasing in the soil. That is dry habitat too. Here the water holding capacity of the soil is increasing in the Xerarch succession. So next one is the shrub stage. So with the change of the habitat, that is herbaceous vegetation also shows the sign of degeneration, and xerophytic shrubs gradually occupy the area, and roots of shrubs also reach the surface of unpulverized rock and corrode the sufficient quantity of rock particles, so which make the soil more massive. So decaying leaves, twigs, and roots of these shrubs also enrich the soil with humus. So these important reactions bring about such conditions. So if again this is now suited to the trees rather than the shrubs and herbs. So now next one is the xerophytic trees. So now the xerophytic trees invade the area, so which has been occupied previously by the shrubs. So the first trees growing in such areas are dwarf and widely spaced. With the increase in this water holding capacity of the soil, these trees are gradually disappear and subsequently the mesophytic type will develop. So final stage, that is the forest stage. So the mesophytic trees are also deeply rooted and their roots are profusely branched. So they can absorb the sufficient amount of water and nutrients. So these mesophytic trees grow densely and become dominant. So because their seedlings are shade tolerant. So in the shade of mesophytic trees, some shade loving herbs and shrubs also grow. So now they form their own communities. So after very long interval, so when complete harmony develops between the plant communities and their environment, the climax stage is established. So which remains unchanged unless some major environmental changes will disturb it. Okay, so this is the ecological succession of the process of ecological succession and different types like ecological succession of Hydrarch and ecological succession of Xerarch. So the main stages in ecological succession of Xerarch are, first one is the crustose lichen stage, second one is the foliose lichen stage, third one is the mass stage, and third one is the mass stage, fourth one is the herbs stage, fifth one is the shrub stage, and sixth one is the xerophytic tree stage, and final climax community is the forest. So in both Hydrarch and Xerarch, the final climax community is the forest stage only. Okay. So this is about the ecological succession of Hydrarch and Xerarch. Any doubts?
Okay, dear friends, Madam has asking any queries or any doubts regarding of plant succession, Hydrosere and Xerosere. That means Hydrarch and Xerarch. These are the ecological successions. Madam has clearly explained. Regarding of this class, if you have any doubt, ask our respected madam. Okay. Okay, madam, thank you very much. Everything is fine. So, my dear friends, it is most important topic. Definitely, you may get 2 questions from today's topic. That means ecological succession. That means types of the ecological succession. What is the meaning of ecological succession? Okay, and stages of the succession, Hydrarch and Xerarch. That means Hydrosere and Xerosere. Okay, thank you very much, madam. We will going to wind up the session.
Okay, thank you, sir.